Hello and welcome to this Book Talks video. It will be pretty much a discussion video from me today, and I will talk a bit about preservation of books, and I will talk about how I have decided to store my own limited editions. Now I will make a specific standalone video about how to best take care of your books, but that will not be out in a while. I don't think. I did plan to release that video in November, but I decided to scrap all of that work and do something even better for the near future. But first I want to talk a bit about why I buy books and why I can't really call myself a book collector, since I only buy books that I intend to read. I've never bought a book that I didn't have the intention to someday read, so I wouldn't call myself a book collector, since book collectors often try to buy books that are a bit rare, like first editions and such, and I'm not really interested in that at all. So I would call myself a book reader that enjoys reading good editions instead. But I do collect books in the sense that I collect them to read them. So yeah, this might be quite obvious to some people, but for book collectors out there, of course not everyone is going to read their fine limited rare books that they have bought for a lot of money. But for some of my books I definitely view them as art, and I do not want to store my books in a dark, cold room with optimal environment for storing a book. So I do want to display my books as best as I can in my bookshelf without caring too much about the preservation of the book itself, since I do buy my books for enjoyment and not so much investment. So let me talk a bit about my thoughts on investment and investing in books. The books I buy, I never buy for investment. I never buy a book hoping that it will rise in value in the future. And I don't think that the Full Society limited editions are worth investing your money in. They will not, in most cases, rise that much in value over the years. I mean, at most maybe double the price, but there's definitely better things to invest in than Full Society limited editions or Full Society books. So I never buy my books for investment. I never buy my books hoping to earn money from them. And that is why I very recently decided, because I was very tired of seeing my limited editions from the Full Society be stored away in Solander boxes. So I have decided to keep them out of the box on the bookshelf, and I will give you all a quick little demonstration on how that looks like right now. So here we can see Alice in Wonderland. I have placed the Alice in Wonderland on this mesh, I don't know what it's called, like foam material, and I've also placed acid-free paper underneath the book so it doesn't rest directly on this material. But yeah, I've decided to put this foam here so that I can easily remove the book without scraping the backside of the book. But this is a solution that will not be here forever. I will buy some Duralar film, which is a plastic that is archival and acid-free, and use that film as a dust jacket around the book, which will provide some extra protection. But yeah, this is the Alice in Wonderland book that I've decided to store like that. And down here we have the Anthony Trollope, The Duke's Children limited edition that you will see here. I will also get some Duralar for this book so that the leather doesn't dry out and crack mainly. But it's also a nice added protection for leather-bound books that I really would recommend. And I will probably make a video about that when I receive the Duralar film. But yeah, I think the book looks very handsome there in the shelf next to some other Victorian works. So now you have seen the books on my bookshelf, and the added Duralar film will add some protection at least, but it will not protect against the sunlight, which will be the main issue storing the books outside of the box. But they will never get any direct sunlight, at least. But yeah, I'm much happier having my books actually being displayed instead of those big annoying Solander boxes that take up a lot of space and doesn't look particularly well on the shelf either. But this is of course not the optimal way to store your limited edition. If you want to preserve them as best as you can, you want them in a cold, dry and a very dark environment, which a Solander box would provide. But I just can't find enough enjoyment having my rather expensive limited editions hide away inside a box. But I know that putting your books open, your limited editions open like this on the shelf is not for everyone, and I don't know how many of you would do the same or do the same with your limited edition. So I'm very curious to hear about your thoughts on that. But I think for me, the way I collect books, the way I love book bindings and the way I love books, I just can't hide the books away anymore. So that's pretty much my reasoning for this decision. It's going to be fun to experiment a bit with the Dural or archival film, which I should have in March or April at least. But yeah, that was this discussion book talks video about my limited editions. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope I will see you all next time. Goodbye.